Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Let me pause this. Good to see you here today. I hope that you can see me. Let me pull this up. So let's see. Everybody is saying that Suzanne Titkemeyer just did a live about the same thing, and I didn't see it, and I would love to see it. I love Suzanne. We are friends on Facebook, and I would consider her one of my favorites on YouTube. So I will have to go back and take a look at it when I'm done. But I haven't seen it so far. I definitely want to hear what she has to say. Norma, you said that you reached out to Suzanne for me. What was that about? Was it about me wanting her to find the Tiger King person in Costa Rica? I love Suzanne. I'm friends with her on Facebook, so I can reach out to her too. So good to see all of you. I see Ginger, Norma, Carol, Little E, Barb, Cecilia. Good to see you. Okay, it got cold here. I know. Okay, Little E says, it got cold here too. I'm keeping my seedlings inside. So did I. I brought all my hydrangea bushes. I hadn't planted them. I brought them all inside, and they're just taking up like the back room. Okay, but the forecast says last frost is April 27th. I'm struggling to keep them watered in the planter pots. Yeah, I have to water mine too. Do you think they're going to be okay? I'm really concerned about them. I think I'm more concerned about them than my own children right now. Hi, Nikki. Did you want to come up at all with me while I talk about this? If not, that's totally fine. Just let me know below and I'll try to send you a thing. Good to see you, Nikki. Supernatural Crime with Nikki and Teresa, my two faves. Hi, Teresa. Good to see you. Okay. So I had to bring all of my plants inside. I'm like really worried about them. I'm also like super high on caffeine and vitamin B right now. I would rather be high on something else with like better effects. But my kids were sick. People were sick. I was sick last night. We're always sick with something. It wasn't a big deal. But then this morning, my daughter, she was just not in a really good place. And I needed to get myself up and get going and do stuff for her and do stuff for my son. So I was like chugging the coffee. And that's probably why I'm sick. I'm taking like vitamin B, and now it's like really hit me. And I just find myself being like, and that's why I come here to talk, to kind of get it all off my chest. It's also a really busy time for me because my mother-in-law is coming to visit. I absolutely love my mother-in-law. She's the best. I'm so glad that she's coming, but I want to clean the house a little bit before she comes. So I've been running around doing that. Okay, let's see. Cecilia, I normally wait till May long weekends, the weekend before Memorial Weekend for the US to plant. Okay. Maybe I should take it inside. Okay, let me send a link. This is for Nikki. I hope you get that link, Nikki. I just put it in the chat there right now. So it's been like a busy, crazy time. And I may not be around for a couple of days because, of course, I'm going to be enjoying my mother-in-law. I really love when she comes over. We might go like antique shopping. Well, shopping for her. I don't have the money to buy them, but there's several antique stores around here. So I'm kind of hoping. Okay. Oh, Lord, the pressure is on. I know. And every time I clean something, like I come back into that room, I don't know, a few hours later, and it's completely destroyed again. The dogs and the kids. And I'm just really bad at involving my kids in cleaning. So I think that that's a part of the problem is like they don't care. They don't know what's going on. And they're just sort of like coming in and being a hurricane of messiness for me. Okay. So today, thank you for being here, everyone. Today, I'm going to be talking about first, she who shall not be named. And that's not because I don't want to say, well, I mean, it's not that I can't say without a crystal ball. I just really don't like saying it. I don't like her name in my mouth. I have been through so much with this person, and I've seen so much that it's very difficult for me to even still address a lot of these things. It's been really hard. All right, I'm going to bring Nikki up. Let's see what she has to say. Hi, Nikki. Can you hear us?
Hi, how are you?
Supernatural Crime with Nikki. It's been so long since we've done something together, and I've missed you.
I know I've missed you too. I don't know. I'm so nervous. I don't know. I've just been weird
Don't
lately,
be
like
nervous. No, don't be.
wanting to go live.
Yeah, we've been through a lot over the past couple of months, so I can understand that. But I really, really
Yeah.
want to do this tarot card reading with you. I got my daughter these new tarot cards that are all like it's a different form of doing readings related to animals. And I was like, Nikki would like this. We should do it together. So I hope
I'd love
someday soon
to.
we can do that. And we can, yeah, we could read for like Teresa and Renelle and all kinds of people and just have fun with it on a live. That would be really fun.
That would be. I really like that.
Okay, cool. All right. So Nikki, you're well aware that it's been really hard for me to even address any further like what's going on with this creator, she who shall not be named, who is without a crystal ball. But I like calling her she who shall not be named. Okay. It's been really hard because what's happened over the past couple of months has really made me feel depressed about what this creator is able to do and get away with. And the fact that
Yeah.
even when her fans push back against her, she doesn't change her tactics. So that's been really hard to watch from a distance.
It is really hard. I know it's been
Uh,
hard on you. It's been hard on me. It's been hard on our subscribers, our members.
mhm,
I mean, the whole community. I mean, this is really, really, really bad what she's doing. Like this is the
right.
lowest of the low she's ever gone. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to go. This is enough already.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys go over to Nikki's channel, Supernatural Crime with Nikki, she does a lot of supernatural stuff, but she's also been one of the only people who's continued to speak out about Without a Crystal Ball. And I think you've done so in a really like competent and consistent way. And I really appreciate that from you, Nikki, because there are times when I'm so sick of this crap, but I'm like, who do I talk to? Where do I go? And I do enjoy like picking up your channel and listening to one of your videos.
Thank you. I mean, I'm at the point where,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like because I'm in Canada, I can actually get away with calling her out and she can't come after me. That's what it feels like because everyone else
Mhm,
is getting, from another person who shall not be named, everyone else is getting
mhm,
all these ROs and everything else in the name of KJ. And it's like, I'm the only one left that can say something. Oh, wait, and Cactus Bill,
mhm.
because she's in
Well, I do
Australia.
appreciate, yeah, Cactus Bill. We like Cactus Bill too.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate you. Okay, so let's get into it. I have some video. I have some clips of stuff that's been going on with the Bates. I'm going to talk about who the Bates are for anyone who's not aware and what has been going on with them that has really set off this specific creator. So just jump in at any time, Nikki, because I have a tendency to ramble on and on. Okay.
It's
And then
okay.
after
We
that,
do.
I want to talk to you. Thank you for understanding. Okay, so then after that, I'm going to talk about Nicholas Godejohn and Paul Ferguson. I just have a lot to say about these two men and what's going on with them in prison, their similarities. And I'm also going to show you I'm going to let you listen to some clips from jail with Paul speaking to his new fiance. He has a prison fiance. I'm going to go over who Paul is, why he's related to Nick Godejohn, and all that kind of stuff. And that'll be at the end. But let's get started with what's going on with the Bates family. All right. Okay, so this is Trace and Lydia Bates. They have their own YouTube channel. You can go check it out. It's pictured here. Trace and Lydia recently put out a video talking about how Lydia's postpartum time with her new baby, it was her first baby, was really emotional, difficult, and essentially ruined by the fact that one specific creator was coming after her in such a way that really tore her down, like mentally, made her feel like she wasn't a good mother. It really enhanced whatever issues she was having after pregnancy. All right. Because this video recently came out a few days ago, I think several people are talking about this topic, but maybe not enough people are talking about it, because for me, it's like, I'm glad that She Who Shall Not Be Named got a lot of backlash about what she did with Garrison's death. But there's a lot of other things that are happening that she deserves to get backlash over, to the point that she changes how she is reporting on these people, or, she gets the hell away, because it's been really hard to watch her do this over and over again. And it's something that sort of, people will say, like, let go of it, walk away. But it eats at me, because she is a very large creator, and it really does affect these people's lives. And that's
Yeah.
what we see here when Trace and Lydia come forward. Go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, it does. Balls with Total Crystal Balls. She's got
Mm.
everything over on Twitter and Instagram, and she actually was one of the ones to find that video that they made, and they discussed how it was for them, especially Lydia, what KJ said to her, and set up and tried to claim that what Lydia was going through, what she did to that baby, it destroyed her. She's crying through this video. And I remember watching it. I just watched it a couple days ago, and it was heartbreaking to see this poor new mother getting dragged by a piece of shit. I mean,
Yeah.
are you gonna watch
Yeah.
that video?
Balls 2.0. Yeah, we're going to watch a part of it, but only a small part. Everyone should go to their channel to watch the rest of
Yeah.
it, because it is quite interesting. And I mean, it just sort of shows, and it's also something for me to look at, because, here I am running my own channel where I talk about a lot of these people, and I need to be aware that what I say, there are consequences for that. So I need to feel good about what I'm saying. And I'm really trying to go forward doing that. I still talk about gossip, but I really try to be like, this is my opinion. This is what I've heard from someone. I can't be sure. You need to make your own opinion. And I just really feel that the majority of channels, even if if they're a lot like Katie Joy's channel, they are willing to say, like, I don't know if this is a fact. This is my opinion about something. And if fans and people that watch them start to push back and say you're going too far, they have a tendency to take that criticism and actually make a change in what they're doing. But that's not what I see with She Who Shall Not Be Named. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about who this family is, and then we'll watch some of the video. So this is Trace and Lydia. Please run over to their YouTube channel to watch what they're doing over there. So they come from the Bates family. The Bates family was part of the IBLP, and they actually went on the Duggar show. And you guys know I was like really into the Duggar show at one point in time. They went on to the Duggar show as another family that was an awful lot like the Duggars. Okay. And eventually they ended up getting their own show on another network. I think it started on TLC, and then it moved over to some kind of a network that I don't even recognize the name. But a lot of people came, they had like a small, but really like diligent following of fans that really enjoyed that show. There were a lot of kids, and it's just like the Duggars. You're watching them grow up and get married. This is one of the many posts that they make, because of course they have a big social media empire, just like the Duggars. They will talk about things like one of their daughters has been dealing with like extreme infertility, and that's a big issue for them and that family, because they believe that women should have as many children as possible. So these are some of the things that you will see on their Facebook page. Okay. On the main Facebook page for the Bates, we actually have a lot of postings about Lydia. Lydia married their son, Trace Bates. I think it was in 2022. And here we have a posting like, happy 26th birthday, Lydia. I'll run it a little bit. The Bates put up all these pictures of her with her, I guess, almost
Aw.
1-year-old son, not quite one. And they're together. Yeah, really sweet pictures. And I thought that
I
that
love
was
that
sweet. And I
one.
know it is very sweet. Okay. So with Lydia, I know that Gil, go ahead.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying that. Just say I love those
With
photos.
Lydia,
Those are really cute.
I know they're cute. They're a cute couple. Of course, this whole family is like this. They all have Instagram accounts. This is something that is a big thing with people in the Duggar family and then Duggar adjacent families. They run social media empires on the side, and it's like a secondary income for them. And I think it's also something that the girls might enjoy doing, because they're not really led to feel like they can go out and get a job necessarily. Some of them do, but most of them stay home. They're stay-at-home moms, and this is something that they can do on the side. So in that post, you can see that Gil and Gil's wife, I can't remember her name. I think it might be Mary Ellen. If anyone knows in the chat, let me know. They are really trying to prop Lydia up. They're like, you're such a good mother. We love you so much. And you can tell that they know that she has been through hell with her motherhood journey. And they want to make sure that they're letting her know publicly, like, we support you. I'm going to talk a little bit about why people don't like the Bates, because it's important that we recognize it. Okay. So bringing up Bates, the show was actually canceled after there was a racism scandal. All right. And it was pretty sad to watch and unfortunate and terrible that this happened. But basically, during one of the Bates live chats on Instagram, let me see if it shows here. Yes. Okay. So this is actually an article from Yahoo, but you can see that the source cited is without a crystal ball. So she was the one who was kind of going to social media and making a really big deal about this. And here is a still frame of the live that Carlin Bates put up on Instagram. They, as a family, just 1 second. As a family, they all were playing like charades where they pretend to do something and everybody has to guess what they're doing. And I think that in this awful situation, one of the boys was pretending to shoot someone, and the answer to what they were doing had to do with a recent controversy, George Floyd. Okay. So here, Without a Crystal Ball says, reposting the horrifically racist mockery of George Floyd's murder by the Bates family. Okay. Carlin Bates shared this on Instagram. She tried to deflect by saying it isn't a racist. She isn't a racist, and didn't realize someone made the comments. Okay. So this event happened. And then people like Without a Crystal Ball, but especially Without a Crystal Ball, they glammed onto it. They made a big deal about it in social media, which I agree with. This is horrible. I think that it's, and maybe Carlin specifically didn't know what was going on, but it is sad that in their collective consciousness, they think it's okay to act out a scene like that. I think that that's really sad. So I understand why people were talking about it, and Without a Crystal Ball was one of the many people who were talking about it. And the Bates got accused of racism. Here, I'm just going through and letting you know that they lost their channel because of this. And Katie Joy started to dig even further back in the past and was able to find a picture of Trace Bates attending a Trump rally. And so she kind of put that all together. And she was like, these are Trump supporters. They're racist. They're this, they're that, and really went after them. Did you know that background, Nikki?
Yeah, I watched her stuff on that incident, and I don't know. I was watching the video, and they do say George Floyd. Now, the charade game they were playing, it looked like he was throwing a football or something. I don't know what, you know what I mean? They should have never said that name. However, I don't believe that they are racist because they support Trump.
Right. Right. No, definitely. That was ridiculous. And that's very like classic of what Katie Joy does. And I don't want to go into like political stuff, but I tend towards being very liberal. And yet still, I'm someone who can come to the middle and meet people in the middle. And I would never just make fun of people specifically based upon the fact that maybe they're more conservative than I am. And we see a lot of that from She Who Shall Not Be Named. It seems like she does target people based upon their, political beliefs, their personal religious beliefs. And I just, in my real life, like, I don't treat people based upon their belief systems. Like, I don't say like, oh, now you're conservative. Well, now I'm going to act a certain way towards you. So it's really hard to kind of watch that play out for her on social media.
Okay. It is, because it's every day.
All says, I'm an anarchist, and it's awesome. Yes. And you've seen that. I know you've talked about it on your show before. Okay, Morgan says, I'm so freaking sick of Without a Crystal Ball. I wish she could just be shut down from all social platforms. All she does is sit on her ass, dox people, and yell at her son. She's absolutely useless. What do you think about that, Nikki?
Girl, yes. I'm with you 100%. That's what I'm talking about. We need people to speak the hell up. Yep.
And that's why I love your channel. Is I swear Gee golly goodness, that what Morgan is saying here is like what I hear on your channel. And I love it. You make me laugh. Okay. Just another troll says, I'll be the courageous one to say, how dare KJ mom shame or rip apart these new mothers when she has a broken child who never thrived. It's all projection. Oh, so sad.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's so sad.
Yes.
Like, I don't even, yeah. For
It's
me,
so true.
I
She
don't even
projects.
understand.
Oh, it's so true. She projects everything that she is onto other people. Like her favorite word to use is narcissist. Girl, look in the mirror.
Mm,
Have you seen your face? It's awful looking. Just like look
yeah.
at you and your actions, girl. She definitely needs to. I don't think she ever will
Yeah,
because narcissists never think they're wrong. Like ever.
right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And that's why I have been hesitant. Well, one of the many reasons that I've been hesitant to keep talking about things, because I wish it would cause some change. And there are times lately where I feel like even standing up for the things that are so obviously wrong, it still doesn't cause the change that I'm hoping for. You know what I mean?
I
So,
think
okay, so let me read this part of an article. All right. Okay, so Lydia's, go ahead.
sorry, just one more thing. I was just going to say, I think that what is happening now with, like I said, the other person that came in on behalf of KJ, that has really put a dent in this community. And now, along with KJ's help, it's pretty bad nowadays. You know what I mean? Like everything she's doing is really, really bad, and other people getting
Yeah.
involved is really, really bad. Whereas all of us
Mhm.
people have been here for a long time, and all of us with channels are literally being shut down. But I have noticed that the more that we all speak out,
Yeah.
there's more backlash. People are angry. People are pissed off. They're telling her, you need to watch it. You need to check yourself. What you're
Mhm.
doing is wrong. Other channels are speaking out. It's amazing to see. Like, I feel like, you know what? We've done it. All of us together have done it. She is finally getting the recognition that she
Mm.
so bad wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I
she
really
can't
think
say
that
or
you,
do anything
especially
now.
Nikki, you're a big part of that.
I
You're
feel
a
like
big
it's
part of
almost
that,
like,
Nikki, because
really think so? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm too much,
go
you
ahead. I'm
know?
sorry that there's a lag. There's a lag between us. Nikki, I'm so
Okay.
sorry there's a lag between us, but I just wanted to say that I think you're a huge part of that. Your channel specifically, the way that you just kind of show all of the Instagram posts, all of the Facebook posts, I think that really makes a difference. Because if you were just watching her YouTube, I think you would question, like, what do you mean? She's not that bad. She does some things, but it's not that bad. But I think once you go to Instagram and Facebook, you really see how she's manufacturing and creating these stories, and instead of letting it happen organically and then like talking about it like some of the other gossip channels will do, she really kind of creates these problems and then puts them into her stories, so it's difficult to watch all of that happen. All right, I'm just going to read a little bit from this article and then we'll hear from Nikki again. Okay, so basically Lydia went to Instagram. Okay, and she had just given birth to her baby, and this was about, he's going to be a year old, so maybe it was about a year ago. So she went to her Instagram and she kind of reached out to people on her social media platform and said that she was struggling in some ways. And something that was going on, it was truly no big deal at all, was that
Yeah.
she had gone to her doctor, and her doctor told her that she didn't have to feed her baby every 2.5 hours because she was so tired. I think that was part of it. Like she can sleep more. She doesn't have to feed every 2.5 hours. She could space it out, or she could have someone give a bottle instead of breastfeeding or whatever. And
Yeah,
Katie
because
Joy
she was
went to her
literally waking
platform
up.
and really,
Sorry, I just want to say one thing. She was literally waking herself every 2 hours to feed this baby, whether they were awake or not. So that's why the doctor was like, no, girl, like get your rest when you can. The baby will let you know when they're
mm,
hungry.
right. Right. And I wonder if like Lydia felt so much pressure on her because besides just being a new mom, because we all feel pressured when we're a new mom, I think that there were probably issues with that family being like very religious and, believing in breastfeeding exclusively, just a lot of things where maybe she felt pressure to really be the perfect mom. And so instead of, giving herself permission, like, no, I don't have to wake up every 2 hours. She had to go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, girl, you don't have to. But here comes Without a Crystal Ball, and this is what she has to say. Some people should not be parents. Feeding your child is literally the bare minimum, Paulson wrote in a lengthy and scathing post. Yeah. She also claimed that breastfed newborns and infants up to 4 months need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. So I to this day, I don't understand attacking these people over something so trivial, so not a big deal, because it kind of started with the breastfeeding and then it escalated from there. Right?
Yeah, she does
and we
it
will
because
listen to
she
the
can.
video in a little bit. That's so sad. She does it because she can. All right, so it started with the breastfeeding, and then as people started to come at Without a Crystal Ball, and this is where I need to say that a part of what I believe, this is all my personal opinion, a part of what I believe is happening with Without a Crystal Ball is that she enjoys any kind of attention, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. She's there for it. So when people start pushing back against her, that's fine for her. It may be like a trigger for her to be like, great, I'll keep saying more and doing more about this topic, because she believes that the views and the number of clicks that she gets are the most important thing. And if she gets negative attention, it does increase her views and negative, clicks. So it doesn't matter to her if people are saying like, don't talk about this, you're doing the wrong thing. It's almost like she enjoys that because she foresees that she's causing a controversy. She's made a story and she's made it controversial, and now she will like be able to use that to continue to boost her social media presence. Okay, so here she goes on, and she moved on from the breastfeeding saga, Nikki, into attacking Lydia and her family because they were from Germany, and she was able to find out that their visas were coming up, like due soon, and they might have to go back to Germany. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of it, but I'm just giving you some information. So here's a post that she made 2 weeks ago. Trace and his father-in-law was told that he would be deported once his youngest German child turned 18. Tonight, Trace acted like the internet made up this rumor. He denied this ever happened. Also, in Trace's video 2 weeks ago, he said the family remained in the U.S. unlawfully. Tonight, he said they were here legally. U.S. immigration gave a statement 2 days ago saying that supervision status does not give someone legal status. So she actually contacted U.S. immigration about this.
Yeah, she's trying to get him deported.
Yep.
She's disgusting.
And that's why it's really difficult to try to let her go unchecked. And I hope all of you can understand what I'm saying here is it's like, it started with this whole stupid breastfeeding thing, which is just a gossip thing. It made Lydia feel really bad, but then it escalated to Katie Joy, like looking into every aspect of this woman's life. She looked into her father, her siblings, and then she goes, I found something that I can really make a big deal about. And it was their immigration status of all things. So it was really hard to watch that.
Ruin people.
Yeah, she tries to bury them. I have experienced it myself. And my experience has been that what was said about me was literally a made up story. And I think in the past, and Nikki, you've watched me kind of like evolve, but in the past I would have been like, well, I'm sure that Without a Crystal Ball, I think that whatever she says, there must be some truth to it. Nobody just makes things up like this. And it really took her coming after me and my family to see that, no, she literally does just make things up and put them out in the most vile way possible. And that was really hard to watch. To this day, I'm still kind of in shock about everything. Okay. And I know a lot of people are saying it's a shame that TLC won't sue her.
was right
And I
after
want to
that.
say that I don't believe that TLC will ever sue her. I think that they kind of have this this rule that they don't go after people like this because it brings them more clicks. It brings them more views to their show for her to talk about it on her channel. So I don't believe TLC will go after her. I know some people have said things, but we still haven't seen it happen yet.
I'm going to have to agree with that because that's the same reason why the Duggars won't go for her. Because if you give her any attention at all, whether it's negative or not, she thrives on that. And she thinks if she's sued that she's right.
I agree. Yeah. Here, little E says, I think with her directly accusing Cody of trafficking, there's a better chance that there might be grounds to sue her. But yeah, they probably aren't planning that now. Yeah. And even I think that there have always been grounds for suing her. Like when I have spoken to my attorneys and everything, and, you know, my husband is an attorney, so he's around. Even like the very small things that she said about me, it definitely is a case that I can bring to court about her. But the question is, how much money are you willing to spend to take that to court and fight for whatever length of time that you need to? And I think even like people like TLC that have tons and tons of money, they're like, what would be the benefit for us? She brings people to our channel to watch the show. Why would we go after her, spend all this money, and then lose money because people aren't coming to our show? Do you know what I mean? So I don't foresee TLC going after her. Yeah. All right. We're going to listen a little bit to Lydia Bates. And then, Nikki, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. There's so much more. I'm doing a short clip of Lydia's video. And like Nikki said, in other parts of the video, I mean, she is just sobbing and crying. Yeah. I really want to give total credit to Balls 2.0 because she's the one I think who put this all together. And I will link this. Yeah. I will show it to you now, and then I'll try to link the video below as well.
The real thing that really took a turn for the worse that made everything really a lot more difficult was right after that week where you shared that, and someone that we don't know, but, you know, we put our lives out there so people can say, you know, we're influencers.
People get are invested, and then they like to let us know
so they can, you know, say what they want. But they took what Lydia said, and Lydia did not word it in the best way.
I was very sleep deprived, and looking back, I realized I shouldn't have said it the way I did. But in my head,
okay, I just want to say, we actually have Lydia saying she's making an apology for going to Instagram and saying that she was struggling and needed to sleep. They're both saying like, oh, you shouldn't have said it that way. No, Lydia, it's okay. That's what makes me feel bad too, is like, it kind of reinforced this idea that she's not allowed to talk about her postpartum issues. That is so sad. I think that that's terrible. You know, that even in this video, she's like, I'm sorry, I brought it to Instagram. No, it's wonderful that you talked about it.
Yeah, and she didn't word it wrong at all. She had every right to, as a mother, as a human being, you were allowed to say what you want on your platform. And I'm sorry, but Mouth has no reason to be coming after her at all. She's disgusting.
Exactly.
I was just updating like other people that have been asking how I'm doing, and I didn't really think much about it.
You worded it bad, but what was we were told, and we were still doing everything right. Feeding them. You were able to get sleep because we had help here. There was tons of milk in the fridge, and he was still eating every 2.5, 3 hours, no matter what. And someone made a post, I guess, out there on Instagram or whatever, and saying that we were neglecting our child, not feeding our child, and that you were not a good mother. We were having people emailing or DMing us in a comment saying that
the person basically told all of their followers to go call child services on me for supposedly not feeding.
Yeah, and
reaching out
and then after the things that she did say, the person did delete those first posts about that, so she'll now claim that she didn't tell people to do that. But we had a bunch of people calling DHS on us because we're not feeding our child, and of course it wasn't true because we were doing exactly what the pediatrician told us to do. They say everything was right. He was very healthy. And
we literally had people here whose whole purpose
was just to feed him.
To make sure every time he makes a sound that he gets changed, fed, and held.
Yeah, that baby was loved and cared for so well, of course. I mean, obviously. And I think that, you know, it's good to acknowledge that Katie Joy has said before that she's had CPS called on her family based upon what happened, like in her social media video. Now you have to go back and take a look at that and see how you feel about why she was, you know, CPS was called. But I just want to say that just because somebody did something to Katie Joy, that doesn't mean that it's okay or that it's right or that, you know, she can, you know, she now has permission to do that to somebody else. That's really something that kills me about some of what goes on with her is she'll be like, well, I had this happen. I had that happen. And I look back and I'm like, well, there were reasons why that happened. But I also feel like even if it was wrong, even if someone did something wrong to you, like I've had wrong done to me, I don't turn around and then do that to someone else in my vicinity. That's not how normal adults act, you know?
And as we all figured out, she's not normal at all.
Right.
She is a monster.
Right. Okay, let me listen a little more.
So then all of a sudden, like on my Instagram, on Lydia's Instagram, and she also is a photographer, so her phone number's out there. She was getting threats saying you shouldn't have been a mother. Go back to your country. You shouldn't have a child.
Because of all the deportation stuff in between.
Just cussing out and just saying terrible things.
It was so bad.
And this is a first-time mother that is doing everything she can. She has wonderful help, wonderful support. She has my mother that's had 19 children. Her mother's had 7 children. Mm-hmm. So we had a pediatrician that's telling us to do everything, and we're doing exactly what we were told. And I feel like that was the most stressful, and that sent you back into, you got sick, you got mastitis again.
Yeah, so she had a lot, you know, from a distance, it's like these are just random people talking about her on the internet, but the effects were real for Lydia. That's sad.
It is sad. She did not have to explain anything or apologize, and it makes me angry that she felt that she had to because of mouth.
Yeah. Ivana says, Ivana's here. Everybody's talking about you, Nikki. They're saying, we miss you. We love you. They're like, we love you so much. Like, don't be nervous about going live. Okay. Ivana says, KJ getting her minions to call CPS. How hateful she is. And see, that's the thing about KJ. She's very smart. She's very conniving, in my opinion. She won't say, like, everybody call CPS. She'll be like, well, you know, if people want to call CPS, I can't do anything about it. I mean, people need to do what they feel is right. You know, she'll say that so that someone like Nikki or I can't say, like, look what she did. She's it's interesting because she's
calculated.
So interested in, it's calculated. Yeah. And not only that, Nikki, but it's sort of like, she reports on cults, and yet I feel like she kind of creates this atmosphere of like sending out like messages to her fans without really saying it out loud, you know, like everything that she's doing kind of reminds me of what a cult leader would do. You know, she doesn't get her hands dirty, but she puts that message out there of like, oh, well, I don't know if people need to call CPS. This is all in my opinion, but that's what I see from her when she gets into one of these situations. It's like she will not say to go and do something terrible, but she'll insinuate like, well, some people would. Not me, but some people would call CPS.
Exactly. And that's why #cult in every video that I make of her, because I feel like she's running a cult. It's the exact same thing. You can't say these things. You can't have different conversations in her live chats. Stay on topic. Like, what are we in school? It's just, it's bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. You told me, because I wasn't around. I just started picking this up like a year and a half ago, I think. So when people tell me about how the live streams used to be, or I've seen some of them, it's bizarre. It's definitely bizarre because it'll be like, what are you guys talking about now? Just like very angry at the people in their chat.
Yeah.
It's like, really odd.
Stay on topic. We're talking about me right now. Not that. If these people keep continuing having side conversations, please block them. It's like, it blows my mind. Like, who does that?
Yeah. It's very odd. And then the fact that people in the chat, what I have seen, because I even saw this when she started going off on me, I guess a month ago, people in the chat will be like, I'm so sorry, Katie, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it that way. It's like they're very they're very pressed for Katie to notice. Yeah. They want Katie to favor them, which is kind of weird to me. All right, we'll watch this. There's just a little bit more, and then we can talk a little bit more about it, and I'm going to go into my next topic.
You're running a fever, and this is all
so sad
because of stress. And then next thing we know, we're getting phone calls from like Good Morning America, different newslet people saying that, do we have any comments on us neglecting our child and not feeding our child? And of course it was all untrue. And they even came out with the article, and in the article they asked, a pediatrician, are they doing anything wrong? And they said no, they're doing exactly what their doctor said. After we let the news article that, hey, this is not actually true.
We decided to
All right, so that's where I stopped it. You need to go to Lydia Bates' YouTube channel to watch the rest. There's a lot more. Nikki, can you talk about, you said that she was like crying in part of the video?
Yeah, it was all throughout until like the very end. She was crying, she was shaking, she was really, really upset that somebody would actually tell the world that she was a horrible mother and was starving her child. And then to top of all of that, to get them deported. Like, to bring that up, like it couldn't just be one thing. No. Mouse got to go hard for them. And it broke her heart. Like, it really destroyed her just by one person doing that. And because of that, like they just said, they had news stations calling them, actually thinking that this happened, and it didn't. I mean, this woman needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
She's dangerous.
Yeah, and kind of what we're showing here is that this all started out from one small post about feeding and breastfeeding. And then the moment that Katie Joy got some attention from it, it's like it exploded into so many other things. It went from, criticizing someone, I think unfairly, but, okay, you're criticizing them, maybe that's allowed. But then you start looking up their information, realizing that their visas are coming up, put that all over your social media to hundreds of thousands of followers. I could not live with myself. And I do gossip. We all know that. There are people who come to me and they're like, you do gossip. You're like Katie Joy. I get it. But there's no one who does what Katie Joy does. And this is just one example. And I'm really glad that Trace and Lydia made this video, because it's real people coming forward and saying like, this really affected us in a hard time, in a very hard time of our lives.
Yeah, it has. And it's not right. And I will continue to call her out. I mean, I know that if I stop, then there's not very many people left doing it, because she's come after everybody.
Right.
And yeah, I have to. I can't stop it, because one of these days, I really feel it, that someone's going to hurt her or someone's going to hurt themselves because of her. I really, really believe that.
That's so sad to think about. I know that, and I talked about this before, what happened to me from December to like February was really hard to deal with. It definitely wasn't like the hardest part of my life. I mean, I've been through a lot more difficult things, but I shared with you, and I've shared with my fans as well, that I was going through like a seasonal depression that I haven't gone through for years, because we've been living in tropical climate. And so I already had, much like what's being described here, I already had kind of like an issue going on in my life. And then to sort of be attacked in this way was, difficult as well. But what I will say about it is like, I don't have a problem with someone like Katie Joy maybe criticizing me, maybe going through my videos and saying, you're wrong about this or you're wrong about that. But what I do have a problem with is literally like stalking my family, people messaging and contacting my husband, whose phone number is not public, people doing things that were just like, how do they even know, this person in my family or that, like clearly really going way too far down a rabbit hole, and that's a part of what she does and people around her do. And that's been really hard for me to even like accept and to see, because years ago, a year and a half ago, I would have been like, this is all conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it took a lot of time to really see how much of it actually happens.
Yeah, it was bad. Like, I remember talking to you, and we both have, I feel like we both have the same thing. It's called SADS. It's seasonal affective disorder syndrome. And I get
Right.
it every single winter. And that is why I started my YouTube channel. But
Uh-huh.
man, this winter I went through a lot. You know, I
Yeah.
lost my nun.
Ugh,
So
that
the
was hard.
depression kicked in hard. And then
Yeah.
all this stuff with all these creators and mouth, and it's just another creator that came at me and did some shit. Like, it all piled up, and that's why I haven't went live. I don't know. I'm
And that
hoping to
makes
get back to me.
Yeah, and that makes me really sad because I enjoy you and I love you and I enjoy when we get together and talk. And I do think it would be great if we do some things that aren't about she who shall not be named, because of
Yeah,
course, like I think it's depressing to even
it
like
is.
talk about it. Yeah.
It is.
For
Let's
sure.
do something fun, like you said with the tarot cards. I went
Yeah.
and bought like 3 different decks too, so we should
Okay.
use them. They're
So
so cool.
I really want to do it. So let's pick a day. I'm going to message you when I get off about it.
Yeah.
Nini was here and said hi. A lot of people are saying hi to you and just chatting about you and how much they love you. So this was what I wanted to put out there. I mean, I don't. Blake says, I love you, Nikki. Lots of people are letting
Oh,
you
thank
know
you.
that they care about you.
That makes me feel a lot better. So maybe I'll get out of this rut. I'm slowly getting out of it. I thought
Yeah.
I was out of it when I did start coming back, but that's all I've been
Mhm.
able to do is videos. I don't know. I've just been,
Yeah.
I need a kick in the ass is what I think I need. It's time, you know?
Well, it's not just that, but can I talk a little bit about Nun Nun at all?
Yes,
Would
you
that
can.
be okay, let me put this here. So for those of you who aren't aware, Nikki had just like a really close friend and subscriber who, was really good to her. They had a really great relationship. And it was in December that this subscriber passed away. And the relationship was so special that she even had someone specially contact Nikki and let her know what happened. And I know that that was kind of the start of a lot of sadness for you. And I felt it too. I really felt it. It was hard
Told
to,
you that night. Remember, we all had a glass of alcohol. I
yeah.
lost it. I bawled my eyes out. I needed to talk to you. And we did. We did drink together, and I felt better after.
Yeah. But I mean, that kind of like loss and grief, it sticks with you for a while. And you met her through your channel. So then getting on your channel is, kind of a reminder of all
She
of
did that
that.
book with me. So that was, I got a whole series of that book called Chaos about Charles Manson. We did it together.
That's right. Nan was a really special person. And I do believe she's still with you. We talk about that.
Yeah, I think so too. I just miss her, like she's brilliant. I mean,
Yeah,
she would say things that I'm like, wow, you're like really smart.
I
It blew
know.
my mind away. Yeah, I
I
do miss
know. She was great on your show. I
She was.
remember she came on to mine once, and yeah, she had the most intelligent ways of talking about things, and I really enjoyed her a lot. So I know that was a lot. And I also want to say, like, I thought it was insane that in the midst of all of that, some people, other creators were attacking you. Like, it was just a crazy, it just comes back to, like, I know most of the people in this chat won't know or like really understand, but it just comes back to, like, I think a lot of people in this YouTube community, they just feed on hurting each other.
I think
And
so.
I don't feel that that's what my channel is. I don't feel that it's that way.
It's not.
I've spoken out about Katie Joy, but I feel like it's really just valid criticism. It's not like literally trying to destroy her and break her heart. You know what I mean? So I think when I watched a lot of people kind of just say weird things, even people were saying, like, who knows? They were questioning what happened with Nun Nun. I remember that, Nikki. And I was like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah, that
Like,
really
what is wrong
upset
with
me.
them?
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a bad time. And then trying to get back from that. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a lot better. I can talk about it now without crying, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just all came at once, I mean, I'm still reeling from my Grams passing in May, but it was like I lost my Grams, I lost Nun Nun, and then all these creators coming at me with just these disgusting lies and foul things to try and hurt me when I'm already down,
Yeah. Yeah.
That was hard.
I think we all make mistakes, because I remember like not going into it too much, but you know, I was supporting this one creator who ended up, it seemed like she in the end wasn't telling the truth about some things, and that was a mistake. But it's like, when you come forward and you're like, I'm sorry I made that mistake, like why would you continue to like beat up on a person over something like that? I just found that really interesting too. The whole dynamic of the way that the YouTube channels interacted with each other during that period of time was very odd to me. And it made me feel bad for people who have been around for even longer and been through it time and time again, because I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm going to really focus on my family and my life and put out the content that I like. I recognized this fall that I probably could have made a lot more money if I would have just talked about the sister wives over and over and over again. And I made the choice not to go that route because it depletes me. It makes me unhappy. It makes me, it's like a shell of myself to just feed into like what's going to make the most money on YouTube. And so, so I can see that like that's kind of maybe like a systemic issue with the platform, that, you know, maybe someone like Katie Joy has been doing this for years and recognizing that covering something else doesn't make her money. So she just keeps going with the same story. And it's just
changing words around and making it seem like it's new when it's not. And people are catching on. Her views are down by the thousands. I love it.
But I agree. And you see, Nikki keeps me going, because I will be like, I'll be like, nothing's happening. Nothing's ever getting better. And Nikki will be like, no, I saw that her views are down. You know, she's just like really trying to keep people going, I think.
Like, if I'm going to cover this girl, you're coming with me. Don't be a Debbie Downer, because I'm telling you, we're winning.
Yes, I know. I'm like a Debbie Downer, and Nikki keeps me going. Okay, Nikki. So I'm glad we got to talk about this. Did you want to say anything else about any of that? Feel free to. And then if not, I'll move on.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. It's just basically, that's why I haven't been around. It's just been really hard for me. Most of you guys know what was going on and stuff, you know, so that's my piece. That's all I really had to say about that. And I'm going to really, really, really try to go live, because I do miss it. I think what will make it easier for me is if I go live with you for a couple times. Now I'm like scared to. It's weird.
Yeah, it helps when you have someone to talk to. So for sure, I'll be around. Okay, I just want to quickly, because I don't have a ton of time. You're welcome to stay or leave, Nikki. It doesn't matter. But I just want to talk about this new rabbit hole that I'm going down, and I want to show you guys some of it. And I hope that some people will be interested in looking at it with me. Okay, so let me make this small and put this up. Okay, let me go a little bit further over here. Okay. All right. So many of you know that I have been really interested in Nick Godejohn. Okay. He is the one that got arrested with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and he has a diagnosis of autism. All right. I've been going down the rabbit hole on what's going on with him, and I've spoken out about the prison system and people with autism being in prison. I think it's a really big issue that is not being addressed. Our prison system is terribly damaged. It's interesting because Nikki's from Canada, and so her court system and her prison system are so different. Maybe one day, Nikki, I'll like interview you about it or something because it's so different. Yeah. And okay, so Nick Godejohn has been a really big interest of mine. I've been kind of doing some things behind the scenes to see if there's any way to help, although I've really come to the conclusion that there may be no way to get him the new trial that he desires. But I know that they're moving forward with the appeals process. His most recent appeal was denied, just flat out denied. His argument was that the doctor they had testify in the first trial was not like a special autism expert, and they should have been allowed to have an autism expert who would be able to explain why Nick has these obsessions, the fact that some of the things that Nick said and did, you know, were a function possibly of his autism, and that this should have been taken into account in his trial. And so they had a new expert come forward and make some statements and try to get the appeal moving forward. And the court just denied it. They said the first person that you had, the first doctor that you had in the trial was sufficient. You're not, allowed to say you just want a better, you want a better doctor now. Like, too bad. Which is really hard because back then Nick didn't have access to the lawyer. Like, when you first go to jail, you're just given whatever public defender you have. You take whatever doctor is available. You don't have money. Now Nick has support and some people behind him because of his fame who have brought in better specialists, better attorneys, and he could get, maybe a more fair trial at this point in time. But he's not being allowed to have that. So it's really hard. I have some
myself. If she's out, he should be out.
Right. A lot of people are saying that. And, now, once again, I've said many times, I feel that he's a person who requires intervention, as does Gypsy. And one issue for him is like his mother has passed away. So I'm not sure what his support system would be like outside, but those are things that could be looked at, dissected, and worked on. So there's a lot going on with him. But I want to bring up that in the process of looking at Nick Godejohn and taking a look at autism in prison, I came across this man that you'll see off to the side. His name is Paul Ferguson. How many of you has anyone heard about Paul Ferguson and Timothy Ferguson, the crime that was committed? I'm going to talk a little bit about it really quickly. I'll do a video about it probably in the next couple of days. All right, so I guess it was a few years ago. Paul Ferguson, the boy that you see sitting in this chair here, he was an adult at that time. I think he was 19 years old. He was living with his mom, and he had a younger brother, Timothy Ferguson, who had autism. All right. His mother, Paul and his mother were abusing and mistreating Timothy. They had created like a very strict and crazy regimen within the home, and Timothy had to abide by it, and he wasn't able to. I'm not sure if it was because of his autism or because the abuse was so extreme, but he wasn't able to ever like do what he was supposed to do so that he didn't get punishments. So he was constantly being punished and denied food. That was like a big part of it. He was frequently denied food, and they would even punish him with food. He loved to eat bread, so they would put extremely hot sauce all over bread and give it to him and be his only food. Okay, and there's so much that I have to say about it. There's a lot out there about this case, but Paul was a part of this. It actually turns out that his mom, Shonda Vander Ark, had put up cameras. It's so weird that people do this and they don't, realize that they're capturing the abuse. But she had put up cameras all around the home, and she would be at work. She worked for a court system, and she would text her son Paul at home and tell him, like, Timothy is sitting on the floor when I told him he had to stand all day. So get in there and you make him do 50 wall sits. So their form of abuse was to, one, withhold food, and two, make him do like this really strenuous, weird exercise for long periods of time. And then number three, they would put him into ice baths for hours at a time. So this was a child with autism who was horribly treated. I don't want to go into all of it now, but it was pretty severe abuse. And Timothy ended up passing away. When they called the police and the police came and took his body out, eventually Paul and Shonda, both mother and son, were arrested, and taken to court because, they had participated in this abuse, and it was all over the cameras that were in the home. And through text message, you could see them talking about like abusing Timothy. It was horrible. Okay.
Oh my God. That like breaks my heart.
I know. It's a really bad case, but there's a side information that I want to get into. And once again, I'll be making a full video about it so we can learn more about what's going on here. But okay, once they were arrested and they went to court, both of them were found guilty and given really long sentences. And this was just a couple of months ago. But the reason that I'm really interested in covering this case is because I believe that Paul Ferguson also has autism. He was evaluated by a doctor for his case, and they said, no, he doesn't have autism. But I believe that once again, they're not using the kind of autism specialists that really would understand like Paul's level of autism. It doesn't excuse what he did. I'm not excusing what he did at all. But I believe that this is someone who very much mimics like what was going on with Nick Godejohn. The fact that his level of understanding about the world around him just did not allow him to be appropriate within his family. He did not understand social norms. Okay. That's my opinion. I'm going to make an argument for it because there are a lot of people out there that disagree. So now Paul is in prison, and this is what I want to get to. Okay. The first thing I want to show you is the people that are covering this right now. There are two pretty well-known YouTube channels that are covering it. The first is Zav Girl, and I know a lot of people don't like her. I'm not going to talk too much about that. But the second is AG Tactical, and both of them are covering this case because Paul has been making phone calls from the jail system, and they are able to get like the recordings of his jail calls. So they're able to talk about like what is going on with him. And it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a look into what happens in the prison system and what is happening with Paul. And they've been playing these like snippets of his phone calls on their channel. All right. So this is where I step in because I want to talk to you about the fact that shortly after Paul got into prison, we've got this kid that I think has OCD, autism. He's got a lot going on. This woman contacts him, and within weeks, she was engaged to him. And the two of them are like getting weird, cringy, and sexual over these phone calls. Okay. Yeah. And this is why I'm bringing it to you, because I'm just going to play a little bit of the phone back and forth between these two here, because I want to talk about how this is like a person who I believe does not have the intelligence, the social emotional intelligence, the intellectual ability to really even be his age. I think he's like 21 now or something. And here he is, he's been put into prison. He's not getting like intervention. He has a lot of issues. Paul is not the best person on the face of the planet, but he has all these issues. And now this adult woman who I believe is in her 40s has contacted him and convinced him to marry her through the prison system. And she's controlling like a lot of what he's doing with his appeals. And I find this really concerning. I really do. Like,
yeah, it's not. I agree with that. Like,
okay, so okay, so let's listen to a little bit of it, and I hope that you guys will join me in some of these videos that I'm going to be making about it. Here we go. Let's listen in.
Does this have to be happening? Like, I want you to come here. If you weren't there, I would be like, just come here, move here, and start a brand new life, you know? But, you know, I don't know. We have to come up with just positive ways to think of things, and I really do hope that these friends of yours are really working as far as the legal stuff goes.
Okay, so this is a recording of this woman speaking, this fiance speaking to Paul. Once again, they knew each other for 2 weeks over the phone, and she convinced him to get engaged and marry her. She's 40 something. He's like 21. And even in this phone call, you will hear her. She's talking about these other people. There's these activists for autism that have stepped forward trying to help Paul. And she's basically telling Paul these people are no good. Like, I'm the one for you. And I'm just so concerned about what's really going on there here.
That's a predator.
You know, because,
I mean, I'm pretty sure that if I was actually capable of reading one of their letters, that they have been working.
Okay.
I need an actual piece of paper. Like, could you grab the paper from my room?
Sorry, Joe just sent me Zap's email, her YouTube.
Okay, so this is the guy, AG Tactical, who you'll see him on the screen. He's listening to the video, and I took it from his stream. But this is what I want to say is this woman who has now become the fiance of Paul Ferguson, she is involved with Zav Girl. So originally, Paul thought, or someone told him, that Zav Girl sent this girl, this fiance, to him to trick him. Okay, so someone told him this, and then he asked the fiance, like, "Are you trying to trick me?" And she was like, "No, I'm not." And then he was just like, "Okay." And they went back to being like fiance. And the girl, I don't believe Zav Girl sent this fiance to her, but the girl has been going to Zav Girl and giving like information, giving like interviews, giving all this information, and then Zav Girl, talks about it on her YouTube channel. So there's so much going on here. We've got a special needs vulnerable individual who's in prison, who gets kind of manipulated and used by this woman who's now is his fiance 2 weeks later, and Zav Girl, the channel, is involved in all of this. I'm gonna listen to a little bit more and then we'll just stop and we'll talk and be done.
Yeah.
And the title of a video.
So short, I have to have my seat like all the way up, like as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so short. But I have to take my jacket off too. So yeah, it's wild. But anyhow, I miss you, and it sucked we couldn't talk last night,
Yeah, I know. That was partially on me.
Like even when I'm busy, like you're there, and like I told you, I didn't lie. When my coworker asked me straight up, he's like, do you have a boyfriend? He's like, you don't really like talk about much, because I don't. I'm a private person. I'm a super private person. And I'm like, well, actually, yeah, I do. I said I actually getting married in September, and they're like, so he's like, well, I don't see a ring on your finger, and I'm like, well, it's because of certain circumstances. And he's like, well, who is it? I said, it's Paul Ferguson. And he's like, no. He's like, who is it? And I'm like, no. I said, it's Paul Ferguson. He's like, the guy that's still on TV. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so we hear her talking to him. Not only does she talk about kind of controlling what he's doing, she's also very all over talking to him. She'll go on and on about how she has very big breasts. That's something that I've heard in these phone calls. And she's also talking to him about what he should do legally, how he should handle his appeal. She's involved with Zav Girl. And then at the end here, she starts to talk to Paul about how I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought because my dog is barking so loudly in the background. But I just find it really concerning. It's something that I want to talk about. It reminds me a lot of what we saw with Gypsy Rose. It's it's sort of to me, I want to know what this woman is up to. I've been wondering if she's interested in writing a book. They're supposed to get married in a couple of months. I've been wondering if there's some financial gain, some financial opportunity for her in all of this. And once again, I wouldn't care if the situation was that I felt that this guy was of a normal ability to interact with people, but I really don't believe that he is, Nikki. So it's very disturbing. What do you think? Because you're from Canada, so I don't even know what the system looks like there, but he's talking to her on the phone and they've become engaged.
2 weeks. Yeah, that's real quick. And it just makes me feel like she's a predator and she definitely has a motive.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to say it, but I'm glad that you said it. I was like,
I got balls, girl.
I was like, this woman is a predator.
Yes,
very much
guy. So. 2 weeks, come on. That was totally planned. She had in her mind, I'm going to talk to this guy and I'm going to make him my fiance.
That's exactly. And she even, oh my gosh, I took out the part. We'll listen to more. There's another part in my other videos. I'll put more in here. There's a part where she's like, Paul, people are comparing you to the Bates murderer. Who's the murderer? The Bates Motel. There's this it was a very famous movie. No, I don't think
That's
so.
What it was based on was Ed Gein. What do you mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre or
no.
Psycho?
The Bates Motel. Yeah, Psycho. Yes, when it was black and white and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So she goes in the call. you and I should go live to talk about this one call. In the call, she's like, Paul, people are comparing you to that Bates guy. They say you look like him. And I'm just like, I'm so into that body type. You have that exact body type. You have that look. I've always thought he was so attractive, and you're attractive like that too. I mean, it is, can you imagine a 40-something-year-old woman saying this to a 21-year-old guy who clearly has never had a girlfriend before? We'll listen to some of the earlier tapes. He has no idea what's going on. Now, Paul has his issues. There's a lot of people out there who don't like Paul because when he talks, now this is very interesting to me. When he talks in these video recordings from prison, he's just like, well, is somebody going to get me a lawyer? Like, he's just very like entitled and whatever.
Wow.
But I believe that that's part of his ineptness when it comes to social interactions. I absolutely see some of the autism affecting him in that way. I'm not saying he's not a jerk. He does. He acts like a jerk. But this is part of like this very high functioning, a very high functioning place on the spectrum. A lot of people do have some of those issues, and it's something I want to talk about. I want to put out there that I think he's wrongly misdiagnosed because the doctor in his trial said he didn't have autism. I really believe that's not true. Norman Bates. Everybody's saying Norman Bates. Yes,
yeah, I
Norman
think,
Bates.
are you talking about this show as well? It's called Bates Motel.
Yes, that's
okay.
That's what I was thinking about the original movie, but I called it Bates Motel because I couldn't remember the movie.
Oh, no worries. But
yeah,
that Norman's cute.
Yeah, so that's what but that's what she says. She looks at Paul. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw Paul, but she was like, some people are comparing you to him. And she's like, it's because you're so hot, just like Norman Bates. And I'm like, oh my God, like calm down. This 40-something-year-old woman talking to a 21-year-old. So I am very interested in following this. I want to give you guys some more information about it. It's just a really crazy case. And maybe I know, Nikki, you don't like too crazy stuff, but this I feel like is interesting. It's something to dissect.
It is. Yeah, I can do it. I'm good.
Yeah, like the psychology. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, guys. All right. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. It's just a mishmash of talking about some of the really big concerns I've had about what's been going on with Without a Crystal Ball. I obviously have been like destroyed. I just felt awful that I couldn't do anything about her talking about Garrison and Janelle. That was really hard to watch. And I turned it all off. I blanked it out.
I know, and that's okay. That's okay. Honestly, it's okay.
And when you said earlier, like a lot of creators can't do it anymore. And I said, you're like one of the only creators still doing it. I think there are just a lot of people that get to a point where they're like, it's the same shit, different day. She did this 3 years ago to another person. And for me, and I'm new, then I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she's doing this. Why aren't people talking about it? But I'm starting to realize that like it all happened before and people have talked about it.
Oh yeah, they have. They absolutely have. And I think that a lot of the creators, well, especially with her coming at all these creators and naming them, and now all of us are getting attacked because they believe whatever Without a Crystal Ball says. I think it's been a lot for a lot of creators. I mean, a lot of us have been attacked behind the scenes, and some of them haven't even spoke out at all. I know that for me, though, I'm not going to stop because then she wins, and I will never, ever let her win. What she's done and been doing and has continued on doing is wrong, and I'm going to keep proving it until the whole world wakes up. I won't stop.
And that's why one of the reasons why I really appreciate your channel.
The wrong girl. I mean, now she's got a target on her back. And when I say target on her back, I mean, I'm not going to stop, and I'm obviously going to prove things that are correct. Not her. I don't make things up. I don't need to. She's her own person that screws up, right? So
Nikki, your whole channel is just showing her Instagram posts and her Facebook posts. That's all it is. And then commenting on it.
Yeah, it's her words against herself. Like, she's the one who opens her big mouth, so I'm going to use them against her. It's so easy.
Yep. So, okay. All right, guys, I've got to head off picking up my kids from their school bus stop. Nikki, I'm so glad that you came on. I hope that we can do something together on your channel soon. And I hope you guys will check out some of the Paul Ferguson stuff I'm going to be doing. Thank you all for being here today. Nikki, much kisses to you. I hope to see you soon.
You will. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.